We had stories, emotional stories from the small-scale fisher persons from different parts of South Africa. I think one thing, the process is to raise awareness of the lived experiences of small-scale fisheries, but this is also linked to the land issues, to the marine issues, and also how their intergenerational wealth, heritage, and lifestyles have been disrupted through different policies and legislation that doesn't benefit them at all. The awareness that has been raised around these cases, it says to us what needs to be done. And I think we have to have a real look into some of the policies, some of the legislation that we have in the country, because some of it is reminiscent of the apartheid era struggles. The people of people that are living around Isimangaliso Park have shared very emotional stories of repressions, stories of relocations that really has disrupted their lifestyles and how their cultures and traditions have been undermined. We had stories from people from the Northern Cape who also have shared emotional stories. In the Western Cape, in the Eastern Cape, we've had more or less similar stories that came out of the testimonies, and this needs some action, particularly that South Africa says we need to have a better life for everyone, and a better life for everyone does not mean that people from the lived experiences that they have shared still have got to go through what they are going through today.
So we've heard from Masifundise, the organisation that arranged this three-day tribunal, that there are problems with the implementation of the small-scale fisheries policy. Is this the only policy, when you gauge what people have been telling you, that needs to be implemented properly? Are you concerned that there may be other policies that also impact the ability of people in the sector to make a living and to do so without hindrance?
I would say that we have good policies in South Africa. Regulations and legislations that are like top-notch. The only problem is with implementation, and that implementation requires that people sit together, discuss, and the fisher persons have been asking for core management, and that is exactly what I think would assist in making sure that some of the very good policies are realized.
We also spoke to some women in the small-scale fishing industry, for example, in KZN, and they take mussels out of the sea. One of the women spoke to me about the lack of training and how far training in fishing will go to empower local communities, but also empower women in this industry.
It is important to note that people are calling for training, because this is what has been put into their minds, the new narrative that people need training. But there has been intergenerational knowledge of harvesting mussels from the sea, and also fish from the rivers. And this intergenerational knowledge people still have. I mean, people were talking about how they use nets, traditional nets, and not using any other form of tools to fish. And we have this knowledge. All what needs to be done is that knowledge to be revived, rather than bringing in training and technologies that may not be relevant to the areas or the environments that people are in.
Thank you so much for your time. Of course, they're one of the jury members speaking to us as the three-day Fisher People Tribunal draws to an end today. Of course, all the information and all the case studies and the information from those case studies will be collated. And according to Masifundise, the organisation that brought the fisher community together here, they will use that for their advocacies going forward with future engagements with government.